Good evening, good morning. All right, good morning, good morning. Today is Tuesday, May the 7th. Last night, pretty good night last night in the NBA playoffs. Let's just go straight into it. Let's look at Minnesota, the Timberwolves, and Denver. And again, like I said, we called it. There's a lot. If you look at our past, go back a year, look at all the things we've been calling. We've been calling a lot of things, and we don't go back. We don't take back our words, man. Right? Doesn't mean we can't be wrong. Of course, we could be wrong. The only team I got wrong though in this playoffs, 2024 playoffs, the only series I got wrong was Minnesota and the Suns, right? And now I feel pretty stupid thinking that the Suns had a chance beating Minnesota. And it's not really because, yeah, I did. There's a lot of things I didn't know about Minnesota that I'm learning now as I'm watching them play Denver. But also, the Suns are terrible, right? So that was just a bad call, period, right? But everybody can make those bad calls. And I'm going to admit that was the worst call I made about this playoffs. But every other series, I pretty much called it. I might not have got how long the series was gonna take. Like Cleveland, I expected them to wrap that series up way faster than they did. Who else? Who else? Dallas, kind of expected to see more from them. And that's pretty much it. But I got every team. Every team that's there now, I called it, right? So except for Minnesota. And look at what Minnesota's doing now against Denver. They spanked them like a baby's bottom, man. Or I shouldn't say that. Maybe a toddler's bottom. They spanked them like a bad kid. That's what they did last night, man. 30 points was just crazy. And I'd love to talk about Ant-Man, but we all know Ant-Man, yeah, he's definitely on the rise. But we talk about the superstars. We talk about Jokic. We talk about Brunson. We talk about Ant-Man. But the thing we don't talk about is the team, right? And that is that is the reason why Minnesota won, is because the team effort, right? Especially without Rudy Gobert. That says a lot. That says a lot. And it'll be interesting to see how Denver could find a way to even win one game, much less to win this series, right? Dropped two at home, got blown out last night at home, two consecutive losses. That's something that's very rare for Denver, right? But another thing is a lot has to do with Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's banged up. You could tell if you watch Jamal Murray, you could tell he's not 100%, right? And he's never 100%. Even last year's finals, he wasn't. He's probably maybe 85% last year's finals. So if he was 85% last year's finals, I'd say he's probably 60% right now. That's how he looked out there, right? And Jamal Murray not being at least 90% is a problem because you got a young Minnesota team, young, fresh legs. If you looked at Nikhil Alexander, he was playing defense and he was smiling. This guy is smiling. He's having fun out there, man. These young guys, the pressure is not about, they're not giving into pressure. They're playing hard. They're playing hard defense, right? And they're not getting tired. Okay. Denver's worn down. Denver's worn down from a championship last year and a grueling 82 game season, right? And the first series they beat the Lakers. They're honestly, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, man. I think it's safe to say they're in a lot of trouble, right? It's just they ain't got nothing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And again, people are saying they couldn't afford to keep Brown. I don't know. I think if they kept the team they had last year, they'd be a little bit better this year. If they kept every single player that they had on their team last year, right? And I've been saying that last year. Like I said, I've been saying that about this year's Denver team, that they don't look nothing like last year, right? I've been saying that. So yeah, so Minnesota, shout out to them. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. I wouldn't compare him to Jordan yet. I mean, look at the body of work Jordan has, right? I mean, let Anthony Edwards at least get one championship first. Can we do that? Let him get one championship first before we start comparing him to Jordan. Can we do that? Right? But he's doing good. And like I said, this is a big thing for me. I think OKC, I'm gonna do an OKC live probably later on, but I think OKC will give Minnesota a really good matchup. So that's where I think Anthony Edwards will get tested. And I think Denver would have been tougher for OKC, but I think OKC and Minnesota match up pretty well. And I think that's going to be a really good series if it happens. I think it should happen. The way things are looking right now, I think it should happen. All right. So moving on to that Pacers game, Pacers and Knicks, man. Crazy game, crazy game. And yesterday I actually did a video, but I don't know what happened to it. Must have got pulled down. YouTube must have pulled it down. But I had New York. It was a tough call for me before the game. Like I was gonna call the whole series, right? And I know New York people, looking at New York like, okay, they're missing Randall. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing right now. I think they're playing pretty well without Randall. Okay. A lot of people are overlooking this trio here: DiVincenzo, Hart, and Brunson. Remember, those are three Villanueva guys together, and they look very comfortable on the court. They look comfortable playing together, and everybody else just falls in. And let's not forget OG Anunoby, who used to play here in Toronto. Perfect fit. I don't think OG Anunoby would fit better on any other team. Maybe Memphis, but New York Knicks is the perfect fit for him, especially when it comes to New York. Right? New York is it's a beautiful city for basketball. Right? So I'm very proud of OG Anunoby and the where he is right now. The thing is though, watching that game, right? I'm not surprised the Knicks won. I knew the Knicks would be a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. I knew the Knicks would be a problem, but let's go to the officiating, right? And Knicks could have still won the game even without those bad calls. But those bad calls just made things really it gave people a bad taste in their mouth. It really did. Especially first of all, the kick ball. Who was it? I forgot the guy's name, man. That they claimed kick. I totally forgot his name, but I know. I think he used to play in Boston, right? So they charged him for the kick ball. Nowhere close. Didn't kick the ball at all. His hand touched the ball. The referee that was on that side, on to his right side, should have seen clearly that it was not a kick ball. So that's just insane, right? Plus the refs admitted after the game, which there's no point, right? They admitted after the game that yeah, it was a bad call. That possession could have easily led to 2 points for Indiana. So that was a crucial call, right? And then after that, they backed it up with a terrible screen call on Miles Turner. Terrible, right? And again, that's why people talk about the officiating, right? Because you can call it if you really want to be an ass, you can make that call. But most of the time, and especially this playoffs, you know how many things I've been seeing the refs let go? This has been a really physical NBA playoffs, right? I've seen a lot of things get let go, but you're not gonna let go of that screen, right? Now, of course, when all said and done, they could be like, well, it's an illegal screen by just like a hair, right? Just by a hair, right? He wasn't fully positioned. But I see people set screens like that all the time, right? So it's crazy. It is crazy. I'm going for the Indiana Pacers. I love the Indiana Pacers, but and what I was saying yesterday, again, that video got pulled down, is that the inexperience is what's going to be the problem for Indiana, right? Especially for sorry, my guy there, Halliburton, right? I believe this is his first playoffs, right? Yeah, right. Regardless, he's young. He's still learning, right? How to run a team. This is all learning experience for him. If you compare him to Brunson, big difference, right? And you can see Brunson's going off 40, 40, 40, 40, right? So there's a big difference between the point guard on the Knicks and the point guard on the Pacers. And that's really what's setting the pace, no pun intended, right? Is the fact that the Knicks have a lot of experience. They have a guy in Brunson who's very confident in himself, and that leaks and bleeds out throughout the rest of the team. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Halliburton, you could see some things that are questionable, and it's okay. Like I said, he's a young guy, but that leaks out into the rest of the team. So yes, there was some bad calls, but also the Pacers did make a few mistakes. They're gonna have to clean up those mistakes, and I don't expect them to do it all in this series. It's a learning thing. It might take this series and the off season for them to get it together. I hope that's not the case because, like I said, I do like the Pacers, but and even again yesterday, it was tough for me to call it, but I did call for the Knicks to narrowly take this series, right? And again, let's talk about the Garden, man. The Garden is probably the toughest place to play right now. I want to call it the Hungry Garden. You know that the New York Knicks and New York is hungry to get even to the finals, right? Championships kind of up there, but they are starving. So think about a young team like the Pacers playing in an atmosphere like the Garden, right? Where those fans are hungry. I seen Stephon Marbury. I seen 50 Cent. 50 Cent used to be at the Houston games. Now he's at the Knick game. So just think about that atmosphere. It's crazy. And the Pacers really put up a really good game. A really good game. I like seeing the matchup between OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. Obviously, they played together here in Toronto. So a lot of Toronto fans are having fun watching Pascal and OG Anunoby go at it. It's pretty cool, especially since they were just on the Raptors just a few months ago, right? So it's pretty cool to see them go at it. I think Pascal's the bigger brother, and I seen some moves. I seen a spin move. OG did a spin move. I finished with his left hand. Looked a lot like Siakam, so that was interesting too. I'm pretty sure Siakam probably taught him that move, right? And OG's getting pretty good at that move. But Siakam had a pretty good game last night. Missed the free throws though a lot, and that was a problem he had here in Toronto too. Big game free throws, missing those free throws. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. And I said that was a problem that Toronto wanted to get rid of, and we did. When it comes to those big games, you need to be able to hit those free throws. And it's really not about hitting the free throws. It's about the mentality that doesn't allow you to hit those free throws, right? Overthinking, right? Do too much thinking, especially in the moment. Like I said, the Garden is a tough place. So your mind and your mentality plays a big role, especially when you step to that free throw line. You got those fans, those hungry Madison Square Garden fans, absolutely hungry, just going at you, hit your free throws, right? So you got to have that real dog mentality to step up to that free throw line and hit them free throws. But I think that's all I got. That's all I got for the Knicks and the Pacers. Just in case if I didn't call it, I hate making the call for the series because I'd rather just call who I think's gonna win. But let's just say I'll say maybe Knicks in 6, and Minnesota in 5, right? The way things are looking right now. All right, so let's move on to. I wanted to talk a little bit about Catlyn Clark, right? I don't have a lot on her. I've only seen a little bit, so don't scrutinize me for my take on her. But from what I've seen, right, it looks like she's just really she's a glorified shooter, a glorified shooting point guard. That's what she looks like to me, right? And people compare her to Steph, be like, but you gotta understand, Steph has inside game, he has mid range game, he has outside game, right? I only see Caitlin Clark really just shooting from like the logos. She has a logo game. That's pretty much what I see from her, right? She's a pretty decent passer. Her defense is not that good, right? and and her frame only allows her to do so much on defense. She's pretty small, right? I don't know how much more she'll bulk up, right? I think she's gonna be small because that's gonna, her speed, her ball handling could maybe be a little bit better, and her speed too as well, right? So it's interesting. But hey, being the shooter that she is, being a shooting point guard, maybe she'll score a lot of points, you know, get her teammates involved. That's the thing. She's a good passer, but her court she out there, she didn't her first I'm talking about her first preseason game. She looked a little bit lost out there. Right? And it's okay, it's her first game. But there's another rookie, let me pull this up. There's another rookie, I think JC Sheldon. She's actually in the picture. I think Catlyn Clark put her on her buttocks with a cross move. I didn't get to see that part, but that girl plays hard, man. I know she's not anywhere near Catlin Clark in terms of. I'm gonna pull up her name right now. I want to make sure. I'm pretty sure she is a rookie too. She plays for the Dallas Wings. Hold on, let me take a look at the Dallas Wings squad. Dallas Wings. Yeah, so yeah, she plays pretty well. She plays gritty. Um, and the Wings ended up winning that game. Fever has a decent team. Indiana Fever has a decent team. I'm not gonna act like I'm a pro about WNBA. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm just giving the WNBA a chance because I've seen a lot of rookies going that I'm pretty interested in watching to see how they do. Uh, Pretty much from 1 to 10, the draft pick from 1 to 10 in the WNBA. I've seen some players that are pretty interesting. I'd like to see how they fit in with the team and the whole concept of team. That's what I'm trying to figure out with the WNBA. So let me see something here. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'm trying to find this woman's. I think it's Jace something JC something. Um yeah, I'm not finding it right. Yeah, but like I said, I need to do more research on Caitlin Clark. But I did see a few, and even that game against South Carolina, I feel like she got exposed there when there was someone that actually was giving her a problem, and they were following her everywhere. She wasn't able to get off the screens like she's used to. She struggled. She struggled. So that's my thing is that if she if she gets if she gets if she gets tested, like if there's a defender on her, she seems to be very limited in terms of what she could do. But the girl I was talking about is JC Sheldon. I really like her. She's a rookie too, and not much people talking about her, but she looked more uh she looked more WNBA ready in that preseason game. And again, it's just a preseason game. But and there's a lot of things, but I'm watching her closely too. I think she was in the top 10 picks, so I'm definitely watching JC Sheldon. Really good defender, and again, she looked like it's not new to her. She didn't look like a rookie out there, right? So yeah, but hey, I'm gonna watch all of those preseason games to get a better I guess what's the word? I need more. I need more to go on with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. I'm not really impressed with the college stats. College is college. WNBA is a different thing. So I want to see how she does. And I'm learning too with the WNBA too. So a lot of it's learning for me. And yeah, so yeah, we're gonna keep it short. We're gonna come back with OKC. I'm gonna do my pick for OKC tonight. Definitely my team that I want to win. I want them to win this whole thing. I know it's gonna be tough, but if it's OKC versus Boston, those are my two favorite teams right now. I'll let y'all know if they get there how I feel. But yeah, I think right now I'm really feeling OKC right now. So we'll see how that goes. We're gonna leave it at that. Y'all have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one.